YouTube. So, it happened eventually. The buckybird is born. This was a Westfield Thunderbird base, which actually is better than the Epiphone one. Namely because it's got a better bridge. It's got like a P-base bridge rather than that stupid 3-pointy thing, which it's all to do with like just like if you're going to make that use that 3-pointy bridge, make sure it's a really good quality wood that the body's made of, which the Epiphones aren't. So basically, I've seen so many of them and the SGs or the EBOs with the bridge getting pulled out because like the strings are pulling out the bridge posts. You know, it's got like posts like none of the guitars. Okay, you know, posts like on a tunematic bridge, and the action of the pulling. Whereas this is a P-bass bridge, so it's solid. Yeah, so standard Bucky Thunderbird affair. I made a scratch plate out of metal, so it'll last forever. It was actually really difficult to put that the wee Bucky badge in there. I had to grind so it was flat to take it, which wasn't annoying. Stuck a Bucky label onto the headstock. Not quite the Thunderbird headstock shape, but close enough really. Anyway, I think a Thunderbird, see this, the way this kind of curves down the way. I think it kind of curves up the way on a Gibson or an Epiphone one. Page to pickups red. Didn't do any fancy wiring in it. Didn't really see any reason for it. Yeah, so actually my plan was when I managed to acquire this, I thought I'm going to make a Thunderbird. Even though I think I've never actually drank Thunderbird, but it's a sort of Bucky type thing you get in America. I do remember my pal G used to get it occasionally, and he was always complaining that you could only get the blue label instead of the red label or something. Apparently one of them was like 12%, one of them was like 17% or 15% and 18% or something like that. I sort of vaguely remember it being a bit like the French flag sort of thing. So I thought I'll be able to find a bottle of Thunderbird somewhere, and up until I could find it on Amazon and stuff, but they stopped making it a few years ago, and it's been bought over by another company. So now you buy Thunderbird wine, and it's like Chardonnay and stuff. It's not the proper, C6 Steve down in a bottle of Thunderbird. I'm pretty sure he drank a bottle of Thunderbird when I saw him in Vereri, actually. So it was still kicking about 10 years ago, but not anymore. So buckybird it is. Kind of keeping it simple. The green, red and marigold combination, I think, just works. It works really well on Strats. I think it works really well on this. But it's actually a pretty good bass. It does obviously have the neck dive because it's a Thunderbird and that's part of the Thunderbird thing. That's kind of, I think, my thoughts are, see the way this is this shape. What neck dive? I'm not holding it down with my right arm. So you can, it's fine, but you've got to hold it down with your right arm, otherwise it neck dives. I don't think it neck dives as badly. It doesn't feel quite as much like a door with a neck on it as the Epiphone one. I think it might be slightly smaller. Not sure. Full scale neck though, and 2 pickups. So it's like a jazz bass layout. So you get your treble pickup, and they're both humbuckers as well. Got the tone. Just fix that. It does actually have a different sound to, I think because they're humbuckers, probably more than, like the actual shape of it, really, compare it to like a P-bass or something like that. I don't know if the shape and the mass really makes that much difference. Probably it's more the humbuckers that make a difference, but the bridge pickup is not like when you get like a jazz, your PJ, where you get, it's a bit sort of more for popping and slapping. I don't think this is really what this is for. But yeah, it sounds good with distortion actually. Give me a second, I'll turn the amp on. really got very far with my buckfast for breakfast song. Just for breakfast, just for my love. Breakfast for breakfast, time to face the crunch. Actually, I wonder if you do the usual trick with jazz bass is to get the P bass sound out of jazz bass. You kind of have both volumes up at full, and then you turn one of them down a little bit. This is humbuckers. It probably doesn't work. You might get a wee sweet spot in there. Yeah, so great fun. So I'm going to go and try and hook this to the blitzkreig shop, or if I might just try and sell it myself, not really sure. I just think it looks fantastic, and the best thing about a Thunderbird is it kind of sits in the same region I think that an SG does, where it's a 60s design, therefore it's fine for the Beatles and the Stones and stuff like that, but it's also metal at the same time. Whereas if you've got like just a, it's like that, yeah, it's fine. What, you're playing some Iron Maiden or some, I don't know, Dave Lee Roth or something, yeah, something like that, yeah, totally. Playing the Beatles, still does it, but whereas something like this has, or even something like that's okay, that's 70s, but it's got a sort of 60s vibe to it. So yeah, for the Beatles and the Stones, not so much for Black Sabbath sort of thing. Whereas this is kind of, the Thunderbird's one of those classic designs, not the main design, because obviously the main would be the P bass or the the Les Paul. The second tier, where you get the SG and the Thunderbird and the Explorer, sits there for importance. Dare I even say you could probably play Oasis on this and get away with it? Don't know. Don't tell me. If you're buying it, don't tell me you're going to play Oasis on it, otherwise I won't sell it to you. So this is number Buckfastcaster 44. It's ridiculous. I already know what number 50 is. Number 50 is going to be pure ridiculous. I've already thought about it. I'm also going to get one. Me and my pal Scott are talking about doing one. He's doing a sort of joint one, doing an expensive one. I've had that asked before. I mean, I don't build. These are not expensive to buy, the Buckycasters, and they're all totally unique, and I'll never build two the same. Partly because I'll never be able to build two the same, but even I think in the wiring, even though most of the Buckycasters are Strats because those are the easiest guitars to get, I don't think any of them are the same, or definitely none of them are the same donor guitar, but I'm pretty sure every single one's got an entirely different wiring system. This one, there wasn't really, I mean, I could have put in a phase switch or something, but I just don't think it needs it. It's like a P-bass as well. I mean, I remember doing a P-bass that put two P-bass pickups in it. You don't need it. It doesn't need any more. it's already great the way it is. But I've kind of intentionally, this has been hanging on my wall for the last week. I think it's actually maybe more than that, 2 weeks. The Bucky bottles I had. But they glued the label on too well. I couldn't get the label off on a winner on last week's bottle, or 2 weeks ago's bottle. So last week's bottle I eventually managed to get the label off without ripping it, which is it's to be honest, it's such a long time. I could wire a guitar in a faster time than I can get a bloody label off a bottle of Bucky. Obviously, I could buy stickers or make stickers or something, but it's not the same. Plus, I'm also a wee bit concerned that Buckfast themselves are going to start going, hey, going to stop using our brand completely illegally. It's like, well, I'm not. I'm buying the bot. It does cost a bottle of Bucky to get the label and to get the metal badge. So I wouldn't normally drink it. I'd normally drink something else. Honestly, I wouldn't normally drink a bottle of Bucky on a Sunday night when I'm doing my live stream. I would drink something else, but I needed to buy the Bucky, even though it's a bit more expensive and it's not my favourite. Yeah, I'm even when I'm joking, I can't lie. But fun bass, definitely. And not a wall hanger. Well, nobody else has got one of these. This is the only buckybird in the world. It's been a while now that I've basically, if you've got a Bucky caster of any sort, and it's not by me, it's a fake one. So this is a real one. Signed the back of it and all that. So eventually these will be, imagine if you've been buying Paul Reed Smith's guitars, when he first started out, or anybody, Charvel, or maybe I'll be maybe I'll be the next Leo Fender, or I don't even know what Gibson's name was. Was it even a? I think the Gibson guy was probably pretty much long dead by the time the electric guitars came out. I think I would, to be honest, I don't think I would get away with playing this in the Black Sabbath band. I'd play it as rehearsals, but I think we've got a gig coming up. I don't think I would play this. Take away from the seriousness. If it was an originals band, I'd totally play it. I wonder if I would maybe try and sell it to Nick in Crankenhouse. It would be pretty cool having because then I would have to build myself a Bucky guitar. You've got to be a Bucky drinker. If you're not, then for whatever you want. Or if you're doing home recording, well, you don't need another bass. It's the only way.